What's up, fellow humans? Welcome back to the channel if you are a returning viewer, and if you're someone new, good to see you for the first time. My name is Caleb, and this is where we document all of our slow and budget travels to different places in the world. This is the next video in a series that I've been doing for a while. We are going to break down the cost of living for Vietnam in 2025. This is particularly geared towards slow travelers and budget travelers like myself, so let's get right into it. I'm going to try and mention a few different categories, mainly being 1. Accommodation, cost of living for rent, and how much you can find a place to live for. Next, cost of living for food. How much will it cost you to eat here in Vietnam? And last is just kind of a miscellaneous category, noting some of the other costs that I've seen. Okay, first going over accommodation. This is one that always varies super heavily depending on where exactly you're renting, how long you're renting for, and who you are. What I mean by that is if you are somebody who is moving to Vietnam semi-long term, like 3 to 6 months, and you're going to stay in the same apartment and rent for a longer period of time, you're going to get the best prices. For example, this place that I'm here right now is 550 USD a month for a pretty nice 2-bedroom apartment in a modern apartment building with a rooftop pool and sauna and a pretty big workspace, and the bottom floor has a bunch of cafes and convenience stores, which makes it super convenient to live here. There's also a gym up top. If you're gonna rent shorter term, like a couple of weeks or something like that, then obviously your prices are going to be inflated. We usually start out on Airbnb, which does offer a discount if you rent monthly. And then if we like the place, we will usually contact the owner directly to see about renting from them directly and not through Airbnb. This usually will gain them a little bit more money and let you save and get a little bit of a lower price as well. So that's definitely an option. You can rent just from local retailers or find a for rent sign sometimes, and this might give you the best deal overall. But keep in mind, even through Airbnb, you're gonna probably have to pay for electricity and maybe even something else like water. This, depending on the location, can be maybe up to $50 more, so keep that in mind. But I would say renting a 1-bedroom, if you're just a solo traveler and you're looking for a studio to a 1-bedroom apartment, you can find a pretty nice place in a lot of different cities here in Vietnam for as low as maybe 200 USD a month. And then if you're going for a super high location or a super nice place, you can probably get that up to even 500 USD a month. If you want something that is 2 or 3 bedrooms, this is going to be harder to find and will really shoot your price up. It's a lot easier to find smaller accommodations here in Vietnam, and that's kind of true for a lot of Asia overall. If you have a budget of $1,000 a month for your rent, your options are, I'm not going to say limitless, but you can pretty much rent any place that you want anywhere here in Vietnam. Even if you're going a short term, you can find a beachside huge house for $1,000 a month. But if you're more of a budget traveler like we are, then maybe your budget is closer to 200, 300, 400 USD a month, especially if you're a solo traveler, and you can definitely find this here in Vietnam. You can probably find hotels for pretty good prices too. You can find a local place for maybe 20, 30 USD a night, maybe even a little bit cheaper if it's on the hostel sort of end. Moving on to food. This is probably one of my favorite aspects so far about living here in Vietnam, is it probably has some of the most affordable food prices that I have seen anywhere in any country in all my travels. So what I mean by that is if I want to go get lunch somewhere, like at just a little local restaurant, I can get some street food for $1 to $2 and be pretty full. Today, for example, I went and got a tea and a bowl of pho at one of the little local cafes that are down at the base of the building that I live in, and I think it was like $2.50 for the tea and the pho. This is pretty common and pretty standard almost anywhere. Even if you want to go to a nice restaurant, like I think Shaylin and I went to an all-you-can-eat like Korean hot pot buffet in the mall the other day, and it was like $6 per person, and we went and got a local hot pot the weekend before at not a chain store, at just one of the local hot pot places, and I think it was like $3 per person. So you have a lot of options for really cheap, and a lot of the food here is really good. There's a lot of chicken, there's a lot of seafood, a lot of noodles. Some of the stuff is pretty salty, but overall I would say that Vietnamese food has a lot of flavor, and it is super, super affordable, especially if you're just gonna hit up one of the little local like street food vendors or some little local restaurant where you can sit down and get a bowl of noodles, or a banh mi is probably $2 in the town, and they got some pretty good banh mi's. They got like roast chicken, they got I don't know, you have a lot of options. Just walking around in most of the cities, you're gonna see quite a few different vendors selling quite a variety of things, but it's all gonna be super, super cheap. I did a video, one of my last few videos on the channel was how I live here in Vietnam for like 600 USD a month. So if you want to see more of an individual cost breakdown for that, go ahead and check out that video. But in general, you can really eat on a budget here in Vietnam. Even if you want to go out and eat pretty much every day, this is affordable and actually not even a bad idea, since one thing that we've found is that grocery prices are not that much more affordable than just eating out. If you eat out, I don't know, 3 times a day, if you eat out every single meal, you could still only spend like $6 a day eating out every single meal and not having to cook anything, which is even sometimes just saving that time on cooking and cleaning up is worth it. So accommodation prices, pretty dang affordable. Food prices, really super affordable, probably the cheapest that I've seen anywhere else. I've heard that maybe Indonesia or the Philippines can be pretty comparable, but Vietnam has super, super affordable food prices, which I absolutely am in love with. The last category is fun. And this can definitely have a bit of a range depending on what your tastes and hobbies are like. There are a lot of super affordable things to do, like if you just want to hit up a beach, there's some super sick beaches in Vietnam. There's places like Da Nang or Vung Tau, where I am right now. They have some pretty cool beaches, and beaches are free. If you want to go on like a cruise tour, an excursion, these have a pretty good range, but you can find things between 30 to 100 USD depending on how long the cruise is and if it offers like dinners and drinks and stuff like that. Speaking of drinks, some of the cheapest alcohol here and really good stuff is the rice wines. There's a pretty good variety of like rice wines here that are usually maybe $1.50, $3, $4 at most for some certain flavors. You can get a beer for like 75 cents is probably the cheapest beers that I've seen. Like the most popular beer, like Tiger, is like $1 per the regular can size. And the only thing that's kind of expensive is wine, but you can get a mediocre to lower quality bottle of wine for maybe like below $10. But if you want like a nice wine that's imported from a different country, you might be spending closer to $15 to $20 a bottle. So you can drink for pretty cheap. And we haven't done too many like paid excursions, but as one sort of example, we went to an amusement park here in Vung Tau called Homei, I think is what it is. And it's got some rides. It's on the tops of one of the local mountains around here. And the entry fee to the park, which includes the tram ride up and tickets to all of the rides, and you can get on all of the little, I don't know, the activities, right? There's like rollerblading and go-karting and a variety of different rides. But that was 500,000 dong, which is like $20 for the admission to the park, which, I mean, compared to like Disneyland or something like that, really isn't that bad. And that's the most expensive thing that we have done. There's another local little kind of amusement park that we went on a couple of rides on, and this was even cheaper. Maybe I think it was like a couple of bucks per ride on like a Ferris wheel or one of their little bumper cars or something like that. And there are other excursions, like there are some pretty fancy cruises if you go up to the bay in the north that has the super nice views. Man, I can't remember the name of it. I'll put the name of the bay right here. But you can find some cruise excursions there for not too bad of a price, maybe $100, something like that. If you want to rent a scooter, like a super basic little scooter could cost you anywhere between like $5 to $10 a day. If you want something a little bit nicer or closer to like a motorbike, that might be $10 to $15, maybe $20 a day if you're in a super popular area. So you can rent a scooter for super cheap, but I will say the roads here are a little bit crazy, so be aware if you're not used to driving on a scooter, then you could potentially have some accidents. So using something like a Grab is a really good option, and also super affordable. You can take a 15-minute Grab for like, I don't know, $3. We've gotten around this town for $2 to $3, and the Grabs are usually super quick, they're air conditioned, and they're really convenient. So if you don't feel like driving or risking a, a scooter ride, then Grab is still super affordable. And even flying around the country with domestic flights, like going from Ho Chi Minh to the city in the north, what the heck is it called? I can't remember, but going between city to city is going to be like $20 to $40, maybe $60 if you're getting something kind of last minute, which is also super affordable. So overall, we've really enjoyed Vietnam because the cost of living is really low. One of the lowest that we've seen in any country. If you're a solo traveler and you plan on staying in Vietnam for a few months, I think, for example, if you are an American citizen like I am, you can apply for a 3-month visa, and I think you can get an extension beyond that. But your cost of living could easily be below $1,000 a month. If the minimum, I would say, is like 600 to 800 USD a month, you can get by and have a pretty good quality of life. If you have like 800 to 1200 USD, this is probably the most recommendable, and you can really have a good time and have excursions and eat out all the time. If your budget is greater than 1200 USD a month, you can live like a king here in Vietnam and have an awesome apartment by the beach or in the city in a high rise and eat out all the time and rent a scooter and all of that sort of stuff. So if you're a couple, obviously you can combine forces. Like Shaylin and I, we rent this place for $550, which means I pay like 300 or 275 USD for my half, and this cuts your costs also. Overall, Vietnam, awesome place, cool culture, definitely worth seeing, and one of the most affordable travel destinations that you're going to find in 2025. So if you're a budget traveler like us, put Vietnam on your short list and come check it out. Okay guys, I hope that was helpful. If you found this informational or if you liked that, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and support us for more videos like this. Bye-bye.